He won the Rumble, he slayed the Beast, he became the Universal Champion. Seth Rollins was ready to start a new era on Monday nights, but it never quite took off. Today, we rewrite his infamous world title reign of 2019, and it's a story of ambition, affliction, and most of all, ego. It begins on the Raw after WrestleMania, where Rollins is endorsed by his former mentor, Triple H. Seth promises to be the antithesis of former champion Brock Lesnar by kickstarting a new era of competition on Monday Night Raw. He sends out an open challenge which is answered by a returning Sami Zayn. They tear the house down in the main event where Seth retains his title. The Rollins Revolution is underway. Seth presents the Rollins Report, a regular show where he surveys the title scene and analyzes his next challengers. In these, the architect shows intelligence and guile like that of his old mentor, the Cerebral Assassin. On the first edition, Rollins is interrupted by new members of the roster, Andrade, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles, who all have their eyes on the title after moving to Raw during the Superstar shakeup. But Sami isn't done with the champion yet. He calls Rollins a faux intellectual and a snobbish wrestling critic just like the fans. The two meet again at Money in the Bank, where the Beast Slayer has Zayn well scouted and beats him to retain. The champion installs a ranking system in the title division that will determine his next challenger. He aptly calls it the Rollins ranking. It chucks out a contender based on various criteria decided upon by Seth's own team of experts. Rollins wants to spur competitiveness within the roster and make every match matter on Monday nights. The first contender is recent NXT call-up Ricochet, who's impressed since his move to the main roster. Seth talks up Ricochet on the Rollins Report, but says his inexperience could play a factor in their encounter. This lights a fire under Ricochet, who arrives determined to prove Seth wrong. But after a highly athletic affair, the champ is proven correct as he capitalizes on the newcomer's overzealousness to retain the championship. The ranking then names Andrade as the next mandatory contender as the defenses begin to come thick and fast for the fighting champion. Despite Zelina Vega's meddling, Rollins overcomes the third-generation Latino to retain the belt at Super Showdown. By now, Rollins has more defenses under his belt than Brock did in the entirety of his previous reign. But there's no rest for the weary as Seth prepares to face his biggest test yet in the form of the Dominator, Bobby Lashley. In preparation to face the former mixed martial artist, Seth is seen training with fellow wrestlers Drew Gulak and Chad Gable. One of these new associates, Gulak, proves to be helpful in fending off Bobby's hype man Lio Rush. This allows Seth to defeat Lashley and continue his revolution. The following week, Rollins introduces his new sidekicks to the WWE Universe in the form of his chief strategist Drew Gulak and head analyst Chad Gable. He's now got his own show, his own ranking system, and his own entourage. What started off as an admirable cause may be revealing itself as one big ego trip. Every successful defense builds Seth's confidence, but it also increases the strain on his body. And the news that Braun Strowman is the new #1 ranked challenger isn't exactly music to the champion's ears. After days of fretting, Seth and his crew head into stomping grounds, anxious of the challenge ahead. Rollins injures his leg late in the bout, but somehow musters up the strength to put Braun away with a curb stomp. Athletes, idols, and monsters have all been slayed by the Universal Champion. But what about demons? Former Universal Champion Finn Balor is next to top the rankings, and he vows to repeat history by beating Rollins for the title at SummerSlam. Rollins and company prepare for the unpreparable, a fight against Finn's mythical alter ego. The long-awaited rematch ends in controversy, as Rollins survives the demon due to a refereeing error. The Demon Slayer orders Finn to the back of the line and welcomes his next challenger, Jeff Hardy. Seth has become tone-deaf as the weeks have passed and brings up Hardy's personal problems when analyzing his weaknesses on the Rollins Report. Jeff proposes that they face off in a ladder match at Clash of Champions, where he'll be in his element. Unfortunately, Seth's pre-match words get under Hardy's skin, and he sacrifices his title aspirations in an attempt to take out the champion. The architect exploits the Daredevil's defiance to continue his reign. Rollins' ego grows, but his respect seems to be diminishing. He claims his actions have always been for the greater good, but now he faces judgment from the ominous Aleister Black, who happens to be his next title contender. In pre-fight training footage, we see Rollins snap at Gable for applying the ankle lock on his already injured leg. The champion is growing more agitated as he struggles with the burden of his ambition and the reality of his corruption. For Seth, the road to hell was paved with good intentions. Black heads into the match looking to expose Seth's fraudulence, and he does. After an epic no-holds-barred battle, Rollins relies on interference from Gulak to retain his championship. Rollins has become self-absorbed and delusional in his quest for change on Raw. For months, the question on every fan's mind has been, why hasn't AJ Styles ever been #1 ranked on the Rollins ranking? Seth has clearly been ducking the undefeated superstar for months, despite vowing to defend his belt against the very best. Seth is lured into accepting AJ's challenge on Raw after Styles questions his weakening resolve. But when the time comes for the dream encounter, Rollins cites wear and tear injuries as an excuse to back out of the match. For the first time, Rollins lets his act slip as he scorns the fans for costing him his health and demanding too much of him. AJ is attacked by the champion's stooges as Seth finally shows the world his true colors. The following week, Triple H returns to announce that the dream match between Rollins and Styles will finally take place at Survivor Series. It's been 7 months since the cerebral assassin endorsed his former protege the night after WrestleMania, and a lot has changed. Triple H was a proud mentor that night as he saw that his once pampered golden boy had become an honorable and courageous champion. Hunter tells Seth that he's no longer proud. Seth has revealed himself to be the same spoiled narcissist he was all those years ago, only now he's swapped the blonde streak for all black and J&J security for G&G. He tells Seth to prove him wrong at Survivor Series, where he'll have the best seat in the house as the special guest referee. There's no room for error, no chance for deceit, and nowhere to run. Seth Rollins meets his only true equal AJ Styles with everything on the line.
I just wanna stay bad, stay mad, chip on my shoulder cause they treat me like an outcast. I ain't gonna take that, stay back, I'll be swinging hard till the hits come in all caps. I ain't gonna lay back, pray that someone's gonna help me, ain't nobody like that. I ain't gonna wait, that's all fact, give me one shot and I'll never get the throne back. I'm sick of being cautious, I'ma go cause some pain, can't stop this. I'ma steal everybody's lane, call it shoplift. Sick of hearing everyone complain when they thoughtless. Taste the pain, it's like candy canes. It makes me go change into a better frame, into a better name. Society's insane, we all live for fame, yeah. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, do it no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, baby, I'm bad. I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
Seth Rollins inevitably fails under the weight of his own hefty ambition. AJ Styles is the new Universal Champion and the man the people now revere. As for Rollins, he let pride and ego disrupt his once laudable intentions. You either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain.